Welcome to Bruins Pregame Hub. The Bruins at Little Caesars Arena today for the second game of a home series against the Red Wings. If you missed it, they needed a shootout to decide things on Saturday, and things got spicy. Not pictured here, Viktor Arvidsson, but he will be back in the lineup. So with that, welcome to Bruins Pregame Hub, presented by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Sophia, Billy, and Razor here with you from our Salem 5 studio. We're going to get you set up for this game and take a look at other stories around New England that involve hockey, of course. Guys, let's recap last game. Needed a shootout. It was very exciting at the TD Garden, and we saw some fights, and the Detroit Red Wings are going to remember that tonight.
They will. I don't think they can do anything about it.
I was going to say.
Well, actually, I know they can do nothing about it. So
they can try.
That will be interesting if they try and go down that road. I think there's too many guys in the Bruins lineup that can affect the game that way. We're going to get to that, I think, a little later. But it was a huge win. This is a team, one of the 3 or 4 teams you're fighting for. This is playoff team. This is where you compare yourself to the teams in the conference. And this is another 4-point game tonight on the road. You want to back up the great effort on Saturday.
I'll tell you something. I hope the Detroit Red Wings are thinking about that, so I really do. Because, if they are, they're screwed.
Yeah. Right, okay. And we'll talk about that a little later,
yeah,
right?
We will. But with regard to the Bruins, that was a kind of a real gut check type of game. A team that if you open it up against, you're going to be in trouble. They didn't for the most part. They did their thing, and it was good stuff. It was a fun game, too. Weren't a lot of shots.
Especially coming after Friday.
Yeah, that was...
And having a tough one Friday. The bounce back, the resiliency that we've seen from this group all year was huge as well.
Yep.
I love a home-and-home series. It was very popular when I was growing up, and they're kind of doing it again in the NHL. So we love that. Okay, so the Bruins, like we said, back in the win column with a lot of NHL regulars on their roster in and out of the lineup. Some of the younger guys with less NHL experience or call-ups from Providence have been getting the opportunities. And we've said this before, so I don't want to be cliche, but the next man up, it's a real thing with the Bruins this season.
It has to be. If it's not happening, they're not, getting 9 wins in the month of November. Given how many significant injuries they've had. So, whether it's the Husnadinovs that you're seeing there, the Steves getting called up, Aspero getting into the lineup, Razor, and playing not just regularly, but regularly on his offside at times. And, there's other players too, but they're finding a way to come through. And I guess what I like most about it, you love this because this is what Castlick's been doing all year long, just absolute monster, is that, can I steal one of your terms? It feels repeatable in the sense of I don't feel like guys are scoring 10 goals that you're like, one of those heaters that you're like, oh, they're gonna dry up soon. Steves is playing the way he needs to play all the time. And to me, that's encouraging. Aspero, the same thing. Callahan last game. So it's very encouraging. It's repeatable with these guys.
It is, and they're all understanding the structure. They all understand what Coach Sturm wants to have done out on the ice, and that allow. And the other big thing is they're really stepping in, whether it's the PK, the Asperos of the world, like jumping into the PK, allowing that to stay in the top 10. They're getting some contribution on the power play. Husnadinov, Steves has been huge on both special teams as well. So that's where they've kept that afloat as well, which has been impressive. And typically that's where you fall off when you don't have the regulars in the lineup, is those special teams, that the Bruins have been able to keep it up.
Well, let's show you guys what's been going on in the month of November. I can't believe it's December already, but it is. So 14 games in 30 days, and boy, did they feel it. 9-5-0 record, though, 18 points. They did lose 7 players to injury. 2 have since returned to the lineup. 73 penalties taken, most in the NHL, and 6-1-0 in 1-goal games. Very different than October when they were losing those 1-goal games. 2 OT wins and 2 shootout wins, and they finished the month second in the Atlantic Division. And with that, like we said, we're turning the page. It is December. I know there are still injuries, but one player is returning to the lineup tonight, Viktor Arvidsson, and you've got the details.
Yeah, Sophia, the Bruins are getting healthier, and I'm not glossing over the fact that they'll be without David Pastrnak for a 3rd straight game. They've been without Charlie McAvoy, but you had the return of Casey Middlestat on Black Friday. Then he was reunited with Pavel Zacha on Saturday against the Red Wings, so he had 2/3 of that second line that had been playing very well. And now, as you mentioned, Viktor Arvidsson back in the lineup, and he had a very good month of November, just the 7 games, but he had 4 goals in that span, including the game-winning goal against the Canadiens up in Montreal, and that's the game where he got hurt. And so he had been playing well, that second line had been playing well, and he's hoping they pick up where they left off.
This mindset, I think, just believe in yourself and have confidence when you go out there and play, and try to play my game and make plays and just get back in the rhythm of the game, I guess. Yeah.
And that line that was really clicking for you guys with Casey and Pablo. What works for you guys when you're going?
No, I think we have fun together and we talk about stuff that happens on the ice, and we think the game pretty much the same way. So I think that was huge. I thought in the beginning we might not have talked too much about our games, and now we do, and I think that started to show on the ice, and I think we started to understand each other better.
In terms of the injury situation, I know every team in the NHL deals with it, but it seems like you guys have dealt with it a lot. What does it say about the group that have been able to, sort of pick up these points and stay, in the mix?
No, huge. I think everybody in here showed that they can play at this level and compete, and I think we did a great job on the road trip and coming back to our building. So I think we just gotta up our game a little bit and try to string some wins together, and because the East is so tight right now, and I think every point is so important. So especially these games against a divisional opponent.
Talking to Marco Sturm this morning about Viktor Arvidsson and his pending return, he said one of the qualities that he has is leadership qualities that he's shown on and off the ice, and obviously was playing very well leading up to the injury, and hopefully he can get that back tonight in Detroit, guys.
Adam, thanks so much. I don't know what the weather is there, but it's cold and rainy here, so safe flight back, and we'll talk to you a little later on. When you talk to Mark Kaslick, that's going to be very exciting to hear from him as he dropped the mitts in the last game. Let's bring it back to what Adam was saying. So Viktor Arvidsson, 10 points in 20 games. And this second line, guys, before Middlestat was injured, before Arvidsson went out, of Zacha in the center, they were really gaining some momentum.
I thought so too. I liked the way that they were coming together. I liked, Middlestat more on the wing as he was playing more comfortable there. Arvidsson seemed to have found a rhythm after a bit of a bumpy start to the season, Razor. I felt like he found his groove. Gotten more of an opportunity to literally play the bumper on the power play, too. Adam mentioned in the games that he was in November, 4 goals and an assist, 2 game-winning goals. The other thing, he's a shooter, right? Well, how do you know that he was grooving? Because he had 23 shots on goal in those 7 games. But in the previous 13 for the entire season, he had a total of 29. So he wasn't touching the puck as much. He wasn't moving as much. I feel like he's moving a little better. Let's hope he's moving well now. I talked to him for a few minutes yesterday. Obviously, just need to make sure that it responded well for a pretty aggressive practice for him yesterday. It obviously did, and here we go. We're going to get him back in.
Yeah, huge to get his energy. Marco Sturm talked about that. He's a guy you can follow out on the ice, and he was playing by far his best hockey. That game in Montreal, the goal on the bumper you mentioned in Montreal was a great goal. He's one assist. That was his 200th. He's one assist shy from 200, from 400 points. He's 1 point away from that as well. So hitting some pretty important. Those are 400 points in the National Leagues. That's a career. That's an NHL career. So that's a pretty cool milestone for him. And hopefully he gets it tonight. Hopefully he comes back healthy tonight and gets their pace. And that second line, because the third line's cooking along, that second line can find chemistry. Now you're starting to really build depth.